Hi, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Mel.
Welcome to the Work It, You Are Worth It podcast.
We are here to discuss awareness, growth, and healthy relationships.
Are you ready?
Hey, Ash. Hey, Mel. How are you guys today?
Hi,
I'm
everybody.
Hi Mel. Hi Dawn. I'm wonderful. How are you guys? How are
Totally
you,
miss.
Mel?
I'm missing my cue. That's what I'm doing. I'm totally missing my cue. I'm good. I've got a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a little muffly, I apologize. You
That's why
can't.
you're missing your cue, right? Because you've got a
Yeah.
head cold.
How you guys been?
Oh, it's been a good weekend. I have hung out with the kids all weekend.
Love it. Love it.
We took my grandbaby up to the aquarium in Charlotte yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
I saw the pictures on Facebook. She has got to be the cutest little thing in the world.
She is so darn cute. And she
She
has so much personality. It is
You can tell.
hilarious.
Yeah, I wonder where she gets it from, Grandma. You
Can't
guys are
imagine.
you guys are two peas in a pod. When you look at each other, it's
I
so
love her
strange.
smile.
Her smile is the best.
She's my
It is
girl.
just a full-on smile. Like it's
Yes.
Yes.
cheese into the cheese into the cheese, and I love
And
it.
everything is that way with her. She is full of extremes at two, right? Like
Well,
eh,
you want to know something? I honestly believe that the universe brought her to you for a reason. She is like medicine.
oh yes, that's she is my little best friend. I it's different with a grandkid, right? Being a mom is my everything, and raising my kids is and was like the highlight of my life. It was the most
Mhm.
important thing I had to do. And being a grandma is the most fun, special thing I want to do.
Hmm.
Like it is just as important. She is no more important than my children. My children are again everything to me. And that was a responsibility, right? I had the
Right.
responsibility of being the mom and raising these adults and these children into adulthood and right creating these humans. And being a grandma is it's just so different because I don't have the responsibility. I get to just love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
That's
perfect.
awesome.
I love it. Anyways, we went to the aquarium. We had a blast. We it's a 3 hour drive each way. What we thought would be a huge aquarium was very small. It only took us about 40 minutes to walk through. And for the 40 minutes we were there, it was spectacular. Their tunnel is awesome. They have all these little pop-ins where you could get the baby and it looks like she's in the water with the
Oh,
animals.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
they just swim right over your head. And I got one picture of a stingray and it looks like he's smiling at me because
Mm.
it's underneath. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. We just had a lot of fun.
That sounds
That's good.
amazing. Hey, Dawn, what did you do?
I actually met up with Carrie yesterday, and we went to a seafood festival and then just hung out at the pool. She's dog house sitting for someone. So went over there and just chilled and yeah, that's what I did.
Awesome.
So yeah, it
Nice.
was a good day. It was a good day. So Ash, you said something and it's going to kind of lead into what we were going to talk about today. But when you were talking about your granddaughter, you said she's so full of life and she's so,
Extreme and intense.
yeah, yeah. But I love the one thing that you didn't say was she's too much, right? Yeah, it's not a case of where you feel she's too much. She's just intense and I think it's such a good thing to be intense and be all those things like that's as a person that is like that.
Right?
Right.
She's passionate.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I truly believe that intensity is passion.
Right. Right. And you and I've talked on this podcast and before about both of us were kind of always told we were too much. We were just made to feel we were too much, right? I was too loud. I was too animated. I was too hyper. I was too, right, too everything.
I was too
TOO everything.
sensitive.
Yes. So I was just too much. Um, so I had an interesting situation happen this week, and so I went. I told you guys I'm going to Costa Rica in a few months. It will be my first international trip besides, like Canada when I was a kid. Sorry, Mel, don't include Canada as an international trip since it's so close.
That's okay.
I mean, but back then it wasn't
I
really
appreciate that.
international because we could just
Right.
go,
Just
right?
pop over. Yeah.
Now it's more international than it was 20 years ago or 10 years
Right.
ago, even.
So, I met up with, supposed to meet up with both my girlfriends to plan excursions and all of that. And my one girlfriend wasn't feeling well. And the one thing I love about my group of friends, right? We all get along really, really well. So we can definitely do like one-offs where I can meet up with one friend and have a great time when we have a lot in common, enjoy each other. Meet up with another one, we have a lot in common and we enjoy each other. And or we can meet up as a group and enjoy each other. But this one person, I did travel with her last year. That was my kind of my first girls trip last year, and we just went down to Anna Marie Island here in Florida, and we had a great time and decided we enjoyed it so much we wanted to do it again. And they were both very on board, especially my one girlfriend wants to get me she wanted to be help me get that first stamp, that first sticker on my passport. She was just she travels
Yes.
for work and is all over the place all the time. Um, she's always or having to order new books because hers are too full. Um, and so she's like, I want to do that. So we decided that this was gonna be the trip. This year was gonna be, we're getting me out of the United States. But she couldn't meet up. The one couldn't meet up, and it was the other one. And I actually it was interesting because I don't usually have the opportunity to spend, like, I haven't spent one-on-one time with her. I've talked to her. I've been with her and my other girlfriend, the one we're traveling with, but to be with her one-on-one, it just that opportunity hadn't been there. But we decided, you know what, let's go ahead and meet up. We'll go ahead and we can talk about the trip and just get some food, some wine, whatever. So towards the end of the evening, she says, and it was just so out of the blue, and she's like, you know, she's like, so many people overwhelm me that when I'm done, I'm overwhelmed with them. But she's how she says, so few people don't overwhelm me, and you are one of those people. And I didn't think anything, honest to God, I didn't think anything of it like in that moment. And I just went home and I came home and um the next morning I woke up and I, right, it's just like we know in recovery and we know that like we have to reflect on our interactions and our situations and make sure that I was being the best version of myself. Could I have done something, So I was reflecting and my brain went back to that comment, that one sentence, and I felt really like, whew, like it was like it hit me like hard. And so obviously I texted you guys and I was like, I'm, feeling very emotional about this. I'm feeling very emotional. It was a compliment. She did gave me a compliment and I was feeling emotional about this compliment. And I really was struggling kind of like to figure out why I was emotional about it. And it goes back to that feeling of being too much because it is just something like always been, whether I've been told that in some way with the TWOO and a word after it, or told to silence myself, or told to,
Calm down, chill out, be quiet.
yes,
Shh.
uh,
That, where somebody
you're
looks at you
talking
and they
too
got their
loud.
hand, yeah, and they're like just
Yes,
shushing you. Just, yes.
yes. Um, and so it was funny because if she would have told me you were loud, I'd have been like, I know, like, right? I would have just been like, I know. I
That's
would have
me.
been. She didn't. She said I'm not I'm a rare person that doesn't overwhelm her. And so I was struggling with this, wow, what is this? Like, I didn't know in a way, like it made me emotional because it's something I'm not told that very often. I don't know if I've ever been told that. Um, And just like it's making me very emotional now, like I mean, it's just that it was such this overwhelming feeling of I can't even put these words, I can't even put words to it. I know what I'm feeling. I know what I feel in it. Um, and I
Acceptance? Acceptance?
no, no, that's the weird thing because there's part of me about it with it. It's like, is that true? Is it true? Doubt, questioning it.
It's like a combination, and this is a question mark at the end of this. I'm saying it with a it is, but it is a this is a
Yeah,
question mark. Like a combination of wow, holy crap, I'm not too much for this person. Have I like I've grown and I'm finally not too much mixed with the was I really too much before and now I'm not too much? Or was I never too much? And this is just finally someone that can be with me
right.
versus the am I taking other people's emotions and other people's opinions of me and making that more important than my own?
I think it is all those things, right?
Right.
It's every one of them. Even my kids, I would tell me I'm too much. They think I'm extra. Right. Even
That's my kids tell me all the time, you are so extra.
yes. Extra what? Extra amazing, right? Like there
Well,
are
and
words that can fill in there, but
nobody
I
uses it as a
know.
compliment. I don't
Mm-mm.
like let's just rather than this specific situation, rather than focusing on that specific
Yeah.
conversation, because I think in order to understand the feeling of finally not being quote unquote too much for a person, before you can understand that feeling, we have to understand what it feels like to constantly, always,
Mhm.
and I'm going to get emotional,
That, right?
to feel like everything I do is extra. Everything I do is too much. How I think is too much. How I feel is too much. What I want is too much. What I do is too much. When I laugh, it's too much. When I cough, it's
Mhm.
too much. When I cry, it's too much. Everything is too much. Even just I'm just going to work. I'm just getting ready for work in the morning, thinking I am being in a good mood and getting my coffee or my soda or whatever. And my kid is like, Mom, you're so extra. And it just knocks you down a peg when you've heard
Yeah.
that your whole life. And my kids don't mean anything by it.
No. Mm-mm.
Heck, 90% of the people in my life don't mean anything by it, right? I've been with people who they're singing with the music and they're so loud and it just hurts your ear and you're like you're just being too loud. And I don't mean anything by it when I say it, right? The people that are saying it in the moment, they don't mean anything by it. And for the person that has heard it their entire life about everything, it's so difficult for it to not just take that happiness and literally it's too much so we knock it down a peg or two.
Right.
And then instead of feeling like I'm in a great mood and I'm having a great day, now I'm like, oh shit, be quiet.
Yep.
Don't smile so much. Easy
It's
with
like,
your face.
hmm
Your face is too loud. I've been told that. Your face is too loud. How is my face too loud? I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wrinkled my eyebrows like that. And I didn't realize that my cheeks swelled up when I smiled. Do you want me to smile a little less? Like, it just, it just, it just makes me doubt myself
yeah.
because I never feel confident in how I'm behaving. Right? it's
Yes.
it's always too much. It's too loud, it's too quiet, it's too happy, it's too sad, you're too sensitive, you take it too personal, you act like you don't care too much, you are too controlling, you everything.
I had a situation happen with Colin this week. And even in this aspect, it was he was watching some video. He asked me about where do periods come from, like how do periods work? And I was like, YouTube it, just YouTube it as I was working. And so he did, and he watches the video and it was just intriguing to hear because all the steps how a woman's body has to take to get to this thing. And I just looked at him and said, I said when I hear videos or hear things like this or I consider the woman's body, I really that's when I get curious about a higher something. Like that is such an intricate thing that happens. And how did that originate? And he's like, well, science. I was like, but no, there was something before science. And there was something before this. And so we spent 30 minutes having, probably even longer than that, this conversation. But there was a point in there, he's like, Mom, you're just you're thinking too much about this.
I always
Even,
hear that.
yes.
Just side conversation that is not important. We're just talking. We're just
Yeah.
chatting. And my brain takes something out of the right and turns over to the left and then turns right and then turns left and does a half circle. And now we're talking about this other thing. And I
Hmm.
always like, you are overthinking. How am I
Yes.
overthinking? We're just chatting. I'm not overthinking. I'm just chat. I'm sorry that my brain does too much. It's not too much. And that's the thing that I think so many people don't realize. And that's why when I was talking about my granddaughter, she's not extra. She's
Mm-mm.
passionate.
Yeah.
She's not too much. She's intense. I'm intense. I'm passionate. I'm
Hmm.
not extra. I'm not too much. I'm not too big. I'm not too loud. It's not too TOO anything.
Right.
I'm exactly how I'm supposed to be. And our kids don't like we get tired and we come home and we're like, babe, you're asking too many questions. Stop. And they
Yeah.
don't realize that we don't mean it like that.
Right. It's because it's how they're, what you said, Ash. That's what I've heard when people were overwhelmed. And I think that's the thing. It's right. It wasn't, I'm too much. It wasn't, but maybe the other person was overwhelmed, overstimulated, right? It was something within them and it had nothing to do with me. I just was for lack of better, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, it's not that you were too much. They just didn't have the capacity for you in that
Exactly.
moment. That's it.
Right.
But we don't ever tell our children, I don't have the capacity right now.
Yes.
I am overwhelmed. I am overtired. I am overstimulated. And that's why I think this is such an important topic, right? Because if we're going to make change anywhere, I think
Hmm.
it has to start with us as moms and dads, us as
Right.
parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents. We have to start by reminding ourselves that they aren't too much. We are overstimulated and overtired and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about when I was in my 30s and I was, driving Kate, like we were driving, going to soccer games every night. It was like a quick meal going to soccer games and working overtime and trying to make the ends meet and all that stuff. How it was really, really overwhelming. And how instead of trying to deal with those things, I would try to make space in other ways that weren't really like that healthy. I think that that's when I ran out of capacity, but I had to have the space. That's when a lot of my codependent behaviors really started to develop. Like that's when they were I wouldn't talk about something or or something that was truly bothering me. So, or I would shrink. I think that for
Hmm.
myself, I shrink in a situation or or when I can't deal with something, I will put my stuff aside to make space for the other person. Does that does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Mm-hmm. It absolutely
Yeah.
does. And I think you are 100% correct, Mel. When we are at our capacity, and instead of trying to do something within ourselves to create space, we become codependent and start controlling others,
Yeah.
manipulating others, dismissing, avoiding all of those things in order to create space within ourselves so that we are not over capacity. And that is when we make others feel, especially if we're talking about our children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or right younger, smaller people in our space, we reach our capacity, we become codependent and start controlling, manipulating, avoiding, whatever. And then they become feeling too much,
Yeah.
right? So we're like,
Hmm.
you keep asking me if we can go to the store, or if we can go to the park, or if we can go outside, and I'm exhausted. I just got done working a 15-hour day, and now I got to make dinner, and then we got to do homework, and then we got to do baths, and then we got to go to bed. And all I want you to do is stop asking me questions.
Yeah.
Be quiet, go play with your toys, leave me alone. You are driving me crazy. And
Hmm.
now my children are to blame for driving me
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And they take that shit with them forever. Hell, I'm 42 years old, 43 years old, I think. And I still carry the fact that I was too sensitive my whole entire life. I
Right.
take things too personally. I care too much. I'm too loud. I'm too happy. My From my mother when I moved out of her house at 12 years old. I've been on my own since I was 14 and I'm 43 and still carry that with me.
Yeah, I think that's what's very interesting for me about this, where this the situation this week and the emotions that came around it, because as you said, like I'm 55 years old. Like I'm 55 fucking years old. I'm like I'm grown. Guys, I'm grown. Um, and I have 8 years of recovery under my belt. And someone for the first time, and it's not the first time, but it for me this week, it was maybe the first time I really absorbed it.
Yeah, the first time you really took it in.
Yeah, it was wow. It was not overwhelming, but it was this place of, oh, I have this emotion around something. What is it? Why is it? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, right, for me, I think that was the thing. It didn't make sense because it was a compliment. It was a good thing.
It
But
is.
it's these
But
old
it
patterns and these old,
stings. It
yes.
stings because this compliment, holy cow, I don't drain you. I'm not too much for you. Well, that's
Right.
amazing. But at the same time, well, holy shit, does that mean I've been too much my whole life and now I'm finally not too much?
Right.
No, no,
Did
no,
what?
no, because I've never been too much,
Right.
right? Like I get it. I don't know how to put it into words.
Think it's because too much just became a character belief, and now someone is challenging that belief.
I mean, I definitely have a core belief that I am trying to change, that I am too much. I am extra. I am too much. And I don't know that I have ever interacted with somebody who said that to me, Dawn. I don't know that I've ever been in the situation that you were in and truly taken it in.
Hmm.
So I don't know how it would feel to challenge that core belief. I do, without a doubt, have a core belief that I am too much. I
Yeah. Yeah.
know for certain that when I interact with 99% of the population, they are going to be overwhelmed by the interactions they have with me.
Yes.
I
Yes.
am 100% certain of that. I do have that core belief, Mel.
Hmm.
You are 100% right.
I'm going to challenge that again because when someone tells you that you're too much, a good response to that is, no, I'm just too much for you.
I think for me, it's not a place of I need to respond to them to say that that I'm not too much or I'm too much for you.
I would
What
say
it
that in my
is,
head. I would actually not say that to another person,
no, no, no.
but that is where I am in my recovery now. When
Yeah,
someone tells me I am too much, in my recovery now, I say in my head, no, I'm just too much for you right now.
It is, and I agree with that. And you're right, it had to be conscious. It had to be a very conscious thing for a while. I agree with that. But I want to get to that point where, and I think maybe I am at that point. Maybe that's what happened this week. It really made me evaluate where I'm at in my recovery, and it also made me really grateful for my recovery in a way to be able to look and hear how the new people in my life, I think that's the best way to say it, the new people in my life perceive me based on the way the old people in my life perceived me. So there's recovery difference, and I'm in awe of that, and makes me really emotional and proud of myself.
But the beauty of all this, though, Dawn, is it's been your creation. In your recovery, you've forged new friendships.
Hmm.
You've sought out people with like-minded ideals and personalities, and you know now that in your recovery that how to you don't shapeshift anymore. You show
No.
up as yourself. And now that's the vibe you vibe at. You're going to attract that.
So here's what, sorry, I've been biting my tongue now.
I'm like,
I
she's just
agree
biting
with
at the
what you're
bit. She's
saying.
just, you can just see it. It was funny.
um, I think, and it's a combination of both of these things that you guys are saying, right? It's so for me, my whole entire life, not every, 90% of my interactions, I have walked away from them with the knowledge that the person I was interacting with felt like I was too much.
Yeah.
And it took me up until the last 4 or 5 years to realize that I am not too much. They just don't have the capacity.
Right.
And to get to the other side where I'm not there yet, but where I look at my recovery, I look at my life, I look at the people I am interacting with, and I realize now that I finally have people around me who have capacity for me. I
Yeah.
finally am at the place where in 90% of situations, I am no longer too much for that person anymore.
Yeah.
Now, the people in my life that I have brought into my life have capacity for me. Holy cow. There's a
That's it.
table I fit at.
That's it. That's
There's
that
a
feeling.
seat.
Like,
Like there's
wow,
a seat that's just for me and I
it's
feel
got my
good
name on
here
it.
and and the people around me enjoy me and they have the space for me.
Yeah.
To accept you for exactly who you are. However, girls, I'm going to preface this. You're not showing up anymore, very rarely, with a ton of codependency
Right.
traits. You're
It's an
showing up
authentic me.
Hmm.
with in your true self that's not buried underneath shame and fear and guilt and hurt. You've done the work to remove that, and now you just kind of show up in a soul presence, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And that's kind of
That's
my click word for whatever I feel like when I'm in my true authentic self, my soul presence.
I used
That's the
to.
key of this, right? Mel,
Mhm.
what you're saying right now, what you just said, that is the key of all of this, is because my whole life showing up as my true self has been too much for the people around me.
Yep.
And finally, now, again, not for me yet, because I'm still extra for my kids and I don't have people in my day to day life that I'm not there yet. I'm my table is pretty empty right now because I'm still at that place of creating space and capacity and bringing people in that have capacity. And to be at that place where finally my authentic true self is not I'm just being me and there's
Yeah.
no one around me that is like you're too much. There's finally people around me who are like, wow, you're perfect. I like you just how you are.
Yeah, like you're not over. You don't stress me out. You don't overwhelm me. You don't like. You're just. Oh, my damn it. You're just you in your body with your mind, with your heart, with your soul are
Yes.
perfect. And it like I said, for me this afterthought wasn't from, and it was also, it was also nice to have a be in a place where I'm not thinking, oh, I was overthinking it. Oh, I'm being codependent. Oh, I'm being like, right? We think about it's easy in recovery to always look at the negatives and try to evaluate those. It was really nice. And I mean, I have these moments, but this one for me, because I of that core belief of not it being too much was so deep that this one really, really hit me. And it was just that moment of, huh, I'm different. I am, I'm, I'm different. I'm different. I'm not the same person that I was. I will never be that person again because I'm going to do what I have to do to not be that person again. That, and what that means is I put the right people in my life. That's really all that means is I don't just take the first guy that says flirts a little bit into my, oh, okay, come on in. Oh,
And
right.
then
I don't
making your
take
whole world,
exactly
right? You
because I
have
would have done that and I
now
would
you
have
have
lost.
space.
Yes. And I also would have, and I'm just going to be honest, like, right, I would have brought this person in, and let's say I had friends over here, right? Because I didn't have a ton of friends, but I would occasionally, right, I'd pick up a friend, and right, but then what would happen is somebody would come into my life, and then the friend went away, or somebody would come into their life, and they would go away, and I think with this newfound way of thinking and feeling and celebrating
Yes.
myself and appreciating and putting women in my life that are strong and powerful in their own right and encouraging and non-threatened and they're just equal.
I was going to say that you're having an equal relationship with somebody and
Yeah. And I
equal
don't
and feel showing up equally in a relationship is so powerful.
it
And for
is
the
and
for the relationship, there's so much potential for growth. There's
yeah.
no comparison happen. There's no keeping
Hmm.
score. There's no feeling of inferior. There's no disappointment. There's none of that. There's just a mutual acceptance of one another. And if there's a problem, there's that space to talk it out and to hear each other's point of view. It's about the ability to be able to not looking through a lens. It's kind of like looking at it through lensless glasses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At a
Yeah.
person, you're not looking at them with all these preconceived notions that you have going into what women friendships are supposed to be about. It's about just being in one and experiencing it for what it actually is
Hmm. And then I know that now that I have experienced this and I know the value and the worth of it
and how good it feels.
and how good it feels and right and
Mhm.
how it just that feeling is challenging those core beliefs in me and right with non-recovery people are challenging these core beliefs. I look at if someone, a partner, a romantic partner comes in my life, that part is going to be different. There is
Well,
no I'm all into you.
not
My
only
life is
that,
big.
but no romantic partner is going to be able to come in and tell you you're
Exactly.
too much anything, because
Right.
now you have all of these people in your corner that you're not too much for them. So if this person comes in and they're like, it doesn't even matter who it is, a parent, a cousin, a spouse, a partner, a
Yep.
boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, they come in and they're like, oh, you're too loud. Your response is not going to be to shrink your loudness
Yeah.
because you know you're not too loud. you're I'm sorry, you
It's
are just
you.
overstimulated and can't handle my level. So I'm gonna go over here where my level can be tolerated.
Yes.
And that's the difference. That's the main difference.
And I
Yep.
want to preference this to recovery, really, or to spiritual growth, or to growing yourself as a person. Because now I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because in my codependency, in my when I am maladaptive, I am too much. I am too critical. I am too not listening to the other person. I am seeing too much through my lens and not being able to expand myself to whatever room I'm in. Do you know what I mean? And that's personal. That's my inward.
Yes, and those are two different things,
Yes, they are.
right? It is,
But it
we
is the devil's
are,
advocate of this. Like it is
you are
the
correct.
opposite side of the coin.
When we are in our codependency, when we are spiraling, when we are living in anger and we are living in control and we are living in fear and we are not confident in ourselves,
We can
when
become
we,
too much.
right, when we get into these
Hmm.
situations where we are in a spiral, we are being unhealthy, we are being controlling, we don't listen, right? We
Right.
can be too intense and we can be too controlling and we can be, and that is a very different conversation than somebody interacting in a typical day-to-day situation and me being overwhelmed and then making them feel like they are too much.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know, and I think this is the other thing. I know when I'm being too loud,
Heck yeah.
right? I can be like, oh, I'm talking too loud. Like I feel like I'm talking too loud. And I can now monitor it and adjust it for myself, right? So I think there is awareness that comes with it when, and Mel, I think, you're
This is
alluding
what I
to
was
this
getting
and
about awareness. Yeah.
right. It is because I've done the work and I'm looking and I continue to do the work and I evaluate myself. Hence the reason this became emotional is because I was looking at my part of that night before was okay. I know when I'm talking too loud, when I'm in, and I know where it comes from. I think that's the important part too. I grew up in a household that I wasn't heard. To be heard, I had to be loud. To be to to be anything, I just had to be more. And I had three other sisters, and that they were all a lot younger. They needed more they were more responsibility. So Dawn got kind of ignored and just go do your thing. And if I wanted something and I wanted to be heard and I wanted to be seen, I just became too much. Um, and so now knowing this of where it came from and why it developed, because I didn't have that. Now in these moments I can recognize it a lot easier. I can see it a lot easier. I can hear it. I can feel it in my body easier. And I can be like, okay, you're talking too loud. You can lower your voice. You don't have to be heard. If you're not heard, you're not meant to be heard in this moment. You don't need to get louder. It's okay. And I think that's the thing. It's coming to that acceptance too that I don't need to be heard. I don't need to force myself on someone by being too much because it's okay. I am not less than if the words I need to say are one the no the words I want to say are not heard. It just doesn't matter. And there's so much acceptance around this for me that has just been eye-opening. Yeah. And I think it's going to continue. For me, I think I'm still, as I'm thinking about it, I still am in it and I'm still very puzzled by it. And then, um, I don't know what to do with it. Like I have to, I just don't like, I don't know what to do with this. It's very, exciting. It's exciting and I don't know what to do with it. Like, and I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? You know that feeling where it's like, I don't know what to do with this, but I do know what to do with it, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. That's just my brain just and my
Well,
heart just being like exploding in all of its feels.
Important too, right? I don't think we realize. I mean, even again, even myself, I don't pay enough attention when I am overwhelmed and overstimulated and overtired and over hungry, and I do tend to try to shush the people around me
Yeah.
in order to make space for my feelings. Instead, I need to process my feelings to where I'm not overwhelmed, overtired, over hungry, over frustrated, whatever.
Hmm.
And I need to give them the space to be them.
because
Right.
there's an infinite amount of space out there. I think that there's enough space for everybody.
Hmm.
It's just
I think
within
it's
us to find. It's
right.
not external. It's not looking at the other person and saying, you need to change, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's about opening up yourself inwardly because there is enough space for everybody.
Hmm. And I think too, going this place of I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm this, and that, and not, and so saying I can't, like you're too much, like stop, whatever it is, right? There is that point where I need to ask myself the questions of, okay, they're being this, what is it about me? I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm this, right? And knowing what I'm feeling in that moment, and then solving that thing that I'm needing. If I'm too hungry and I'm hangry and people are annoying me, well, get your ass up and go get something to eat so you can resolve this hangry and you can approach this situation in a more solid, balanced way.
Because it's
And
not like your body is not going to be given off 1,000 clues that there's
right.
something wrong in this situation. You need to create space for yourself somehow, whether that's
Hear it.
eating or just politely removing yourself from the situation to go get space or to changing your lens a little bit or adjusting your mindset. Um, and it's so funny because I think humans just always look outward for this stuff to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think that when I realized for myself that, hey, wait, nothing's going to change outside of me. I have to change what's going on inside of me. That was like the epiphany of
That was
how
huge.
that was huge.
Yeah. But wasn't it in this weird way of thinking? Isn't it easier to want others to change and get others to change than to change myself?
Oh,
Fuck
it's way
no.
easier.
No,
It's
I don't think
easier.
that's easier at all. I
It's
think trying to get
easier.
someone else to change is so chaotic.
No, and
That
I'm not
is
talking in
stormy.
actual. Uh,
Right?
Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead,
Actually
Ash.
getting people to change is impossible. I
Right,
cannot change anyone else.
right.
And in the moment of living in that mentality, it is easier to tell someone else to shut the fuck up than it
Yep.
is to look inside me and say, why am I irritable? Why am I frustrated? Why am I annoyed?
Yes.
It's easier to point the finger at someone else when
Hmm.
when I don't have the habit of taking my own inventory, when I
Yeah.
don't have the habit of looking into myself and seeing what is wrong with me that I am irritated, it is easier to point the finger and say, you are the problem. I need you to be different so I can be okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
That's
not
it.
easier to change the other person
No,
because the other person doesn't have to change
it's
unless they want to.
impossible and way hard. Like it's just impossible. It is. And I love like Mel, like what you're saying, you're 100% right. 100% factual. But in my codependent brain of mine, and in a moment when I'm struggling, it is easier to get the other person to control the other person. It's just easier.
It's easier to try to.
Right. Because I don't have the capacity, but that goes back to the thing of I have
it's
to make capacity. I have to
it's
find
my
that
job to
capacity.
find capacity.
One
Yeah,
of the
it's not.
things that I tell people this is nobody will ever question if you have to go to the bathroom. No one, ever. I have used this tool more times with my mother than anyone because my mother can, whoo, Lordy, I got to go to the bathroom. And I'll get up and I go to the bathroom. I might not have to go to the bathroom, but is she going to question me going to the bathroom? Nope. And I'm not hurting her feelings, but I know in that moment that I'm overwhelmed and I need to get away. I need space. And to me, it's just been it's an easier, safe for me, respectful of them type situation of I'm going to run to the bathroom. I need to go wash, like, right? It's just, and I come back, I'm better. I've taken the 5 minutes. Hell, if I need 15 minutes, again, no one's ever going to question you if you're in the bathroom too long, right? It just became this safe place for me and considerate of their feelings to say, so I'm not being that person. You're too much for me right now. I can't handle this. And it just became another way to do it for me that was easier.
What a topic, guys.
All right. Well, thank you for today. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. And well, Ash, thanks again.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you for giving us a great thing to talk about, Dawn. I loved that you shared that experience. And when you did share it, I actually was thinking to myself, this would be a really great thing to talk about.
I think there's so many people that experience this. It is such a great topic, and there's so many things that go into it that it just gives so many different forks off the road that you could
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm going to toot our own horn here, but I think having three women realizing that they're not too much
Mhm.
in, and they realize this through a lot of self-introspection, and we can share this, it's actually proof
It
that
is.
no one is too much. Well,
No one is too much.
I
No
can
one's
think
too
of one
much.
person that's too much. But anyways,
No one's too much. We just don't have the
Yeah.
capacity for them.
no, we just
That
don't
is it.
have the capacity for them.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yes, that's
And
it.
that's something that, right, in that situation that we're talking about is the opportunity of why do I feel this person is too much? Why does this person trigger me? Why do I feel the way I feel? It's really not about them. It's the fact that I've been too much for so long, that core belief that I'm too much. And when this person is too much, it hits me. It shakes that core belief that that's me. It just hits home. It hits home. And I think that's the part of every situation needs to be evaluated and looked at what is my side of it? Why is it bothering me? Why am I feeling this way? Because it has nothing to do with the other person. They're not too much.
No.
So, all righty. Thank you, everybody. And we will talk to you soon.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Great
Thanks,
podcast.
everyone. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We would like to thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery. Visit the Work It website at workityouareworthit.com to submit your questions and topics for future episodes. And remember, work it because you are worth it.